Imagine booking the perfect getaway, 5-star reviews, a cozy little house in the middle of nowhere. But what if the house wasn't just a house? What if it wanted something from you? That's what happened to me. One decision, one innocent trip, and everything I thought I knew was gone. My girlfriend, my sanity, even my escape. You need to hear this, because by the end, you'll never look at Too Good to Be True the same way again. Stay with me, because what I found behind that door might just find you too. This is the story of the last trip I took with Jane, my girlfriend. It started innocently enough, with a picturesque Airbnb in the heart of Louisiana. Jane was enchanted by the listing: antique wooden walls, wide verandas wrapped in Spanish moss, and a rich history steeped in local folklore. I was less enchanted. It's isolated, I'd said. She grinned, brushing it off. That's the point. We need to unplug. The reviews, they all said things like, "This place stays with you." That phrase, it haunts me now. We arrived just as the sun was setting. The house loomed in the twilight, its dark windows staring back at us like hollow eyes. "I love it," Jane exclaimed as she hopped out of the car. I hesitated. The air felt wrong, too still. No birds, no rustling leaves, just silence. Inside the house was exactly as described. Old money meets hoodoo chic, hand-carved furniture, a massive fireplace, and shelves packed with ancient books. But then, there were the other things. On a small entry table sat a collection of dolls, burlap bodies, beads for eyes. Nearby, jars filled with dried herbs and what looked suspiciously like bone fragments lined a shelf. "Eric, look at this," Jane's voice echoed from the living room. "Isn't it incredible? So much history." I didn't share her enthusiasm. "Yeah, it's something." That night I had trouble sleeping. At about 3 in the morning I thought I heard footsteps above us. But here's the thing, the house didn't have a second floor. The second night is when things escalated. I woke to Jane shaking me. Her voice was trembling. "Do you hear that?" At first I didn't. But then, the faint creak of floorboards. The sound wasn't coming from outside, it was inside the room. I grabbed my phone and switched on the flashlight. The beam landed on the dresser. One of the dolls was lying there, its bead eyes fixed on us. "Jane, did you move that?" I whispered. She shook her head, her face pale. "It was downstairs. I swear it was downstairs." We didn't sleep much after that. By dawn, exhaustion took over, and I finally drifted off, until my phone buzzed with a notification. New photos uploaded. But I hadn't taken any pictures. I opened the app and felt the blood drain from my face. The first photos were of us, sleeping, taken from inside the room. The last one, it wasn't Jane. Not really. Her face was the same, but her eyes were black, empty voids. Desperate for answers, I started recording a video, documenting every corner of the house. That's when I noticed it. A door, hidden behind a curtain in the living room. It wasn't on the listing. "Eric, don't," Jane said, her voice firm. "I just want to see what's behind it," I replied. The door creaked open, revealing a narrow staircase spiraling downward. Cold air wafted up, carrying the scent of damp earth and something metallic. "Don't go down there," she pleaded. But I was already descending. The basement was a nightmare. Jars filled with murky liquids, hair, and what looked like teeth lined the walls. In the center was an altar, candles, symbols scrawled in ash, and an old photograph. The photo showed a family standing in front of the house. But in the shadows behind them, barely visible, was a blurred figure. Then Jane screamed. I bolted up the stairs, shouting her name. The living room was empty, the front door was wide open, and the dolls were gone. "Jane!" I called, running into the yard. No footprints, no sounds, just nothing. When I turned back to the house, every window was filled with those dolls, their bead eyes watching me. The cops didn't believe me. She probably walked off, they said. But I knew better. I tried to leave, but the car wouldn't start. My phone had no signal. And then I saw it, the latest photo on my phone. It was Jane, standing in the woods, staring straight at the camera. Behind her was that same blurred figure. I packed my things and ran. The house seemed to resist me. Lights flickered, doors slammed, and the air grew thick with whispers. I made it out, but it wasn't over. Now, wherever I go, I see the dolls. On park benches, in my rearview mirror, watching. And the photo of Jane? It updates. She's closer every time. This isn't just my story. It's a warning. If you've ever stayed in a place that gave you chills or made you question what's real, I want to hear about it. Share your experience in the comments below. And if you're new here, hit subscribe. Join a community that digs into mysteries like this. Don't forget to like this video and share it with someone who loves a good thrill or needs to think twice before their next booking. Because stories like these, they're closer than you think.